What to do, people? I'd like to welcome y'all to another episode. I know that sport podcast. It's your boy Moore Drive, man. I got two of my guys with me. They represent Detroit to the fullest, the Detroit Lions. And I think they podcast named Detroit Avenue. Is that right? Isn't the name Detroit Avenue?
Detroit Lions Avenue.
Yeah, Detroit Lions Avenue. I'm sorry. My guy Walter Stringer, man, and my guy Ashaunti. Well, this is his first time on the show, so I don't want to say your name wrong, bro. If I say your name wrong, I'm sorry.
Nah, you good. You good. That's perfect.
Right.
Just like you said.
I thank y'all for stopping by, man. Real talk. It's time to break down the NFC North and the AFC North. The NFC North is y'all division, the division that y'all run. So y'all know about that division that's back in y'all hand. Like I said, y'all got a podcast called Detroit Lions Avenue. So you know about the NFC North like the back of your hand. So to jump all this off, I really know this answer, but I want to hear y'all say it. Who y'all think gonna win the NFC North?
The Detroit Lions, man.
Go ahead, Walt. Go ahead. You take it away, Walt.
It's the Detroit Lions, man. Any other answer is fiction. If you basing it off of off seasons, free agency, overall roster building, coaching, coordinators, trending up, trending down, positive cultures, players demanding trades, players demanding more money. Like, we ain't got none of that going on right there, and we got all the positive stuff going on right now. If you look at it for what it is, I think the Minnesota Vikings, they won 13 games a year ago, but if you take into context how they won those 13 games and the way they lost, when they lost, they looked bad when they lost.
True.
Bad. And when they won, it seemed like it was always a 50-50 game that could have easily went the other way. So when I looked at Minnesota for what it was, and then they got to the playoffs and then the Giants took them apart, I just never really respected Minnesota, period. I just didn't last year. It shoulda, coulda, woulda. We didn't beat them week 4, but we should have. We blew a 10-point lead with 10 minutes left in that game. We just malfunctioned. The coaching malfunctioned. Golf malfunctioned. Things just didn't go right. We blew that game. But if you're not getting better, you're getting worse in the NFL. And
True.
What is the Vikings really doing to get better? Thielen was a solid-ass number 2 next to Jefferson. He regressed to seem like overnight over the past 2 years. He's gone to Carolina now. Dalvin Cook still had a lot of tread left on the tires, but y'all didn't want to pay him, so he's gone now. So who's the running mate with Jefferson and Kirk Cousins, who nobody really believes is a championship-level quarterback? And that defense is bad also. That defense kept a lot of guys around too long that they shouldn't have. The Bears have gotten a whole lot better. But I think there's baby steps to this. I think the Bears will probably be somewhere around we were last year. If the Bears win 9 games this season, I think that's a success for them. I don't expect them to do any better than that. If they do, it'll be overachieving. And then, Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to be better than people think. I think they're going to be our main competition. I think Jordan Love is going to be good. That defense is stacked with pass rushers in the front 7. Jair's healthy. Stokes is healthy. I like Green Bay. Not like that. I mean, I hate Green Bay, NFC North-wise. But team-wise, looking around the rest of our division, being unbiased about it, I think Green Bay is going to be our biggest competition. And if we win the division, it's going to come down to a game or two. Tiebreaker maybe. And I think that final game, Week 18, here at home against Minnesota is going to be the game that decides our division.
So you said you got Green Bay coming in second in your division?
I got us winning the division, Green Bay second, Bears third, Vikings last.
Ashaunti, what you thinking about?
Man, wow. I do think the Lions, they're finally going to win their first division title since 1993. I think that's going to happen this year. Finally, we can kind of celebrate that for once. You know what? It's interesting. This division gonna be way interesting. I think it hasn't been competitive the last couple years, record wise. I think every time any of these 4 teams play each other, throw the records out. The Lions have always played Green Bay like
tough.
They've always gave them hell. Even when Aaron Rodgers on top of his game, it's always been close games. Rarely ever has been a blowout. Our house of horrors has been Chicago until we actually won last year by 1 point. Stafford had some nightmare games against the Bears, I remember, in Chicago. Unlike Walt, I think Chicago's going to be second place. I mean, I know they only won 3 games last year. They were terrible. I'm all in on the Bears this year, man. I think the Bears going to be the Lions' stiffest competition. I believe that. I think Justin Fields is way better than what people gave credit for last year. I think that shame on the Bears for whatever reason trying to get the guy killed the last couple years, not giving them no help on the offensive line. Getting Darnell Wright is going to be huge. That guy's a difference maker. Getting DJ Moore paid dividends already. We seen how good.
Yeah, I'm sure right about that.
Yep, that Herbert, Donta Foreman, that Rashawn Johnson. Look out for them guys. I think the Bears are stacked, man. Offensively, I think that
I don't think we know about the coaching though.
The coach. I was gonna say, Walt, you're right. I was gonna say the coach, Eberflus at coach. I'm not too sure about him. And the offensive line still needs some work. I think it does. I mean, Darnell Wright's one piece. They did get. I can't think of the one guy's name. They did get another guy in free agency. I can't think of his name on top of my head. But anyway,
they got Edmonds. They got 2 linebackers.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, from Buffalo, Edmonds is beast.
Yeah,
man.
Terrell Edmonds, and then they got.
And
then they got T.J. Edwards.
Yeah, from Philly. Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I really do like what they did. You know me, Minnesota. I've never been a Kirk Cousins guy. I just think this is going to be the year the shoe finally drops on that whole deal. I bet the end of the season, they're going to be saying it's time to move on from Kirk Cousins. Guarantee it. You know what I'm saying? Because this team's not going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I think Green Bay is going to be a little bit better. I think Jordan Love is a little bit better when people give him credit for. People just don't know him. He's an unknown, and I think that's why the Green Bay is going to struggle to me, because I don't believe you can go through this division a first-time quarterback. Well, he's in his second year, but first-time quarterback as the keys to. I think this division is going to be tough for him. It's going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? To go to Minnesota is tough. You know what I'm saying? To go to Chicago is tough. Come here, it's definitely going to be turned up when they come here. So. If I had to handicap and know that, I would say the Lions, I give them, their high water mark to me is 11 wins. I think they're right around 11 or 12. I'd be surprised Lions get 12. I'm going to say 11. I'm going to say 11-6 wins this division. I'm going to say the Bears 9-8, Green Bay 9-8, and then or 8-9, and I'm going to say Minnesota bring them to rear. I'm going to say 7-10 for Minnesota.
Me and Ashaunti, we about on the same page when it comes to the Bears. Saying I really think the Bears gonna challenge y'all for the division. I'm picking y'all to win the division. I got y'all to win the NFC North. Your offensive line is a little shaky to me. It may not be, but just to me it feel like it's a little shaky. But I think the Bears have got to come in second. The Detroit Lions will win the division. I ain't really good at numbers, so I can't say they'll win 12, 13, or how many games. But I mean they'll win the Detroit Lions win the division. Chicago Bears come second. I'm going to put Minnesota third. The only reason why I put Minnesota third because the quarterback, wide receiver, and coach know each other real well. And Green Bay, this little really first rodeo with folks finna go in the study room, and I'm finna study Lil. It's all about Lil. We finna try to take him out the game. We're going to make sure he sees shit he ain't never seen before.
Correct.
And I be there to fuck him up. So I say Green Bay come last in the division. The defense going to be silent, but I believe everybody that's in front of them, quarterback versus better because they know the system a little bit more. That's where I'm putting them. That's really where I'm putting Minnesota in front of them, and I'm putting Lions in front of them.
I will say this, though. I think Green Bay got the coaching edge. They got the most experienced coach out of everybody.
That's true.
For sure.
That's a real good point, Walt.
You're right. You're right. They can win it. They can win in the coach. They can win in the coaching.
They could. You right.
And they kept their same roster together. They just lost Aaron Rodgers.
That's true. But I don't think Love will be in sync with any of his wide receivers the way Kirk Cousins will be in sync with Jefferson. I don't think he'll be in sync like that. I don't think Love will be in sync with any of his wide receivers the way Goff is in sync with the folks y'all that Brown and all the folks y'all been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Minnesota, man. they so dependent on Jefferson though. Like they be needing
You
monster
know
games for him to win.
They just drafted another wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah, Jordan Addison.
Yeah, he could be.
Don't forget about the tight end they got from y'all.
Oh yeah, we know about him.
Yeah. And then you know what? KJ Osborne gets lost in the shuffle too. I think he a good, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he got enough help though.
That's the only reason why I'm putting Green Bay last. Because like you said about Love, we don't know about Love. So since I don't know about it, first I'm looking at like, is he gonna be in sync?
Well, you know what? We don't know about Justin either. As much as I like Justin Fields, Justin got to prove it this year too. Yeah, so it's. I think we the safest pick.
You're right about that. We don't know about Justin, but we do know this about Justin. We know what he brings to the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got highlights of that man taking this shit to the crib and all this. We know a dynamic that man brings to the field that you got to pay attention to.
That might not work this season. Like if he don't develop as a passer and get better from the pocket, like that's gonna get him killed. Yep. We don't want him to get killed. We want him to get paid.
He damn near beat the Lions last year with no help. You know what I'm saying?
With the move Chicago made this offseason, and they know they're trying to make sure they push shit around so he can be built.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting, man. And I think all of these games is gonna be close. I mean, this division is like I said, just by nature, it's been close, and it may be offense too. You know what I'm saying? It may be all four teams might be good offensively, where we might, because remember we always had Green Bay 15-9, 19.
Yeah, some more, 16-11.
I say Green Bay got the best defense in the division.
Yeah, I maybe.
On paper, statistically, they ain't really been that the past couple seasons.
Good. Yeah, they secondary really good.
They got Rashawn Gary back too. Gary was their best defensive player a couple years ago before the injury. So, yeah, I mean I think it's positive, but I think if you're looking at the situation unbiasedly, which is hard for a lot of people in Detroit as well as outside of Detroit to view it from, if you take the logos off the helmets and you just don't look at the Lions for being just the Lions, to me, the Lions are the safest pick in this division.
I feel the same way.
Safer than Minnesota. If you look at the totality of our situation, like everything is trending up for us right now. The only way I see this team failing this season is due to injuries.
Me too. I feel
that's the only way. Because they're too deep and too solid at every position now.
Well, only thing I can say, yeah, you're right, Walt.
Or maybe kicking.
The only letdown I can see, and I'll be pissed if this happens, if our quarterback ain't the best quarterback in this division. Let's just say, if Jared Goff gets outplayed again by Kirk Cousins and by Justin Fields and Jordan Love, the Lions in trouble. That's the only thing I can see. Because remember, y'all remember, the Lions started 1-6 last year, right? And I think Jared Goff passer rating was like, his QBR rating was damn near like 35 or something crazy like that. Now, we've seen the Goff that's terrible. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only... You know what I'm saying? The Goff that just can't get anything done offensively, and I think that's the nightmare scenario for the Lions.
I only expect that to come from him. Right? Like the same way y'all hyped about Detroit. Detroit feel the same way. So that team, Cameron gave these folks a swagger. So they believe. So they want to win. So they want to win. So I can see Jared Goff ain't no rookie. He got them. He know what's going on. Got to feel with the wide receiver. I just can't see no letdown with it. Only thing I see hold the team back for not winning the division is injury. But I see Chicago put up a fight. But at the end of the day, I think Detroit just got more talent. They got more talent. And like you said, I believe they got the better quarterback for right now. Mm-hmm. They got the better quarterback
for right now.
You know what, though? I will say one thing to wrap that up about Fields. Unless Fields turns out to be like a complete stud, we already got a 2-year head start on defending Fields. So it ain't too much from Fields that we ain't already seen. We know how we got to defend Fields. So, like I said, unless he just develops into like the best quarterback in our division, which is possible long term, I'm just not too worried about Chicago, I think they still have steps to take, man. I still think, we're going to find out a lot about Eberflus, too.
Yeah, you're going to find a lot about the Chicago Bears this season. I truly believe that.
Because I think coaching matters. Our situation proves
You know it
that.
matters. You know it matters. You know it matters to the team.
Yeah.
It matters to the team. If you think it don't matter, ask the Senate, ask the LA Chargers do it matter. They don't.
Yeah.
Let's look at that. We got to go into the AFC. The same part of the AFC North. To jump this all the way out, man, who we all really think can win the division? What you think about it?
Well, I went first last time. Ashaunti can go first.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I love this division, man. You know what I'm saying? And it just because it's the North, just like NFC. AFC North, man. First of all, I'm bummed out that Joe Burrow's hurt right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
I think
that big. Ashaunti, that big, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell for how big it is. I think I'm just running my mouth. All right.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is that guy. Joe Burrow like one of my favorite quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? He got it all. It's just hopefully they protect him a little bit better, man, because I think that's the only thing. That's why they didn't win the Super Bowl. They had no protection. You know what I'm saying?
But you see how he got hurt this time. He didn't get hurt from nobody didn't touch him.
Yeah, nobody touched him. He was just rolling out. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. So hopefully he comes back. Now, I didn't see the timetable. How long? I don't know if he's gonna miss like a considerable amount of time, maybe 4 to 6 weeks or something like that.
Hey man, the man better be back for week 5, man.
Yeah, because then they're gonna be in trouble. I agree.
Yes. I made a video on Instagram about that. They thought I was talking crazy.
Yeah, because the Bengals without Joe Burrow, they done. They can't. They're not gonna. They can win some games and get by, but they're not gonna be able to do anything beyond. Making the postseason.
I ain't trying to be funny, but without Joe Burrow, their first 5 games is I think they Cleveland, I believe. Mm-hmm. Or Cleveland come to their house. It don't make no difference without Joe Burrow. The next game is at Baltimore or Baltimore come to their house. It don't make no difference. Mm-hmm. Without Joe Burrow, it don't make no difference. The third game is Arizona.
They could get by and win.
The fourth game is Tennessee. Now I take that back. The third game around, the fourth game Tennessee, the fifth game Arizona. Man, them folks gonna win 2 of them 5 games, man.
Yeah. It's
if that maybe 1 in 5. Cause the Rams might fuck around and be trimming around.
Yeah. The Rams might be a little bit better too. So the Bengals is big giant question mark next to them. I'll get to them in a minute. Steelers, I agree with Walt in the pre-show. Just what he said with the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to take a step forward, man. I like Kenny Pickett as a quarterback. He struggled last year, but I think he's a little bit better than what he played. I just think I think the same Jordan Love's going to go through the same thing, I think, this year. But I think this year, with the coaching, with the weapons he's got around him, they always got a decent. I think the offensive line's been the issue the last couple of years, and maybe the back end of the defense. So I think Pittsburgh is going to be in the mix. I don't know if I had the handicap and to say they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, they're around an 8 or 9 win team, maybe 10 if some stuff go their way within the division. But that division can be hard as hell. Just like the NFC North, these teams going to beat themselves up too, I think. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, I'm glad to see Lamar got paid. I'm glad to see him back. I want to see a motivated Lamar Jackson. Now with Odell Beckham, I think it's going to be huge. Finally getting him a big time receiver. You know what I'm saying? That could play.
Flowers, but they get 2 though.
Yeah. The question is what Odell is Odell going to be Odell Super Bowl ready Odell that was ready to dominate that game, or are we going to get the diva one that don't?
I don't think gonna be their problem this year.
Yeah, that just don't want to play. He's ultimate wild card. The defense has always been good, so I think Baltimore. Obviously, if I had to, and then Cleveland, I get to Cleveland first. Cleveland, I think this is my pick to win the division. I think Cleveland's going to win, maybe by a game over Baltimore, only because I'm a Deshaun Watson guy. You know what I'm saying? I believe Deshaun Watson can be a top 7 quarterback, you know what I'm saying, when he gets his act together, you know what I'm saying, and play. and focus on football now. So Cleveland's defense has always been good the last 3 or 4 years. So it's just the offense.
They got y'all old coach.
Yeah, Schwartz, right? Jim Schwartz.
He blitz crazy.
Yeah. I like Jim Schwartz, man, as defensive coordinator. So if I had to handicap it real quick so Walker can take it away, I don't want to talk too long here. I would say Cleveland's going to win the division by maybe a game. I think Baltimore, playoff team, they're going to make the playoffs. And I'm going to say Cincinnati. I hate to say Cincinnati and Pittsburgh going to be like fighting it out to maybe get the 3rd spot. But yeah, so I would say Cleveland, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. That's what I think is going to go.
So you got 2 teams coming out of the division, make 2 teams coming out of the division playoff.
Yup. It could be interchangeable. Now, I just want to say this. If Joe Burrow comes back and they're not too far, it's going to be between Cincinnati and Baltimore, or I'm sorry, Cincinnati and Cleveland, who gets that spot. But
how many games they expected him to miss?
Yeah, that's why I don't know that.
They said about 7 weeks.
Yeah.
7?
About
week 5.
Yeah, they're done. Boy. If you miss that week, they're done.
If he missed, man, whew. All right, so let me try to break this down as efficient as possible as I can, because that's some breaking news for me. I didn't know they was expecting him to miss that much time. Even if I take the quarterbacks out of the equation, which is Burrow, Pickett, Watson, and Jackson, I still think the Cincinnati Bengals are the best team overall. Offense, defense, special teams, out of those 4 teams. I think Pittsburgh, they've got some nice ancillary parts, receivers, tight ends, running backs, but the offensive line's still no good. The defensive front is no good without T.J. Watt playing. The secondary is just making Minkah Fitzpatrick and not much else. They're hoping they can get something out of an agent, Patrick Peterson. Don't expect much from that. Baltimore, can we expect Lamar to play a full 17-game season, which is what they need him to do as a franchise quarterback? They need him to be there. If he's there, they cooking then. They fine. They'll be somewhere right there in the mix, I think, week 16, 17, 18. If he's not, they toast. Because we don't know what the hell we're going to get from Odell like that. Rashad Bateman still, we don't know if he's going to really be healthy. Zay Flowers, he's a rookie. They got answers of their own. They got questions of their own that need to be answered. Look at the defense, too. Like, that's not that same vaunted, expected Baltimore Ravens defense. They got holes on that defense.
You're right about that.
You know, and this team ain't winning that much either. They still get respect because they've been a winning franchise for a very long time, but that's not, your granddad's Baltimore Ravens. And then right. Cleveland, will Watson ever be the same after this whole situation he went through for 2 years? We got to start asking that question too. And we don't know if he's plateaued. We don't know if he's ever going to be better, if he's ever going to be back to where we think he is. But when guys don't play football for 2 full calendar years, I worry about that. And he hasn't. Well, leading up to last year. Now he's got a full season. It's going to be hard to keep everybody intact in Cleveland, too. Like, they got some first-round picks on that team that's going to have to be paid. And some guys they may not want to bring back. They already let Greedy Williams go. I think John Johnson, they got him in free agency. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's gone, too. Denzel Ward's still there, but he's not getting any younger. Chubb, he's a hell of a player. But outside of that, like, they got a lot of questions. So if I'm looking at it for what it is, can Cincinnati, with the stable of running backs they have, and the receivers they still have, and the pass rush they have, and the secondary that they have intact, and Dax Hill playing a bigger role, and that head coach, is it possible they can still win games without Joe? They got enough. Well, if he doesn't play, which it looks like he's not, you talking about Trevor Siemian, so he's a veteran in the league. Siemian has never walked into a situation like that. He got that many receivers. He got a stable of running backs. He got an offensive line, and he's a veteran. So can Siemian get you out of those 6? Let's say he missed 6 games. Can Siemian get you 2 and 3? Even if you 2 and 3, more than likely in that division, you still in play until Joe comes back. Can we at least be 2-3?
2-3 look good if you win one of the first 2 games you play. The first 2 games will get division rivals, Baltimore and Cleveland. You don't want to lose both of them 2 games. You don't want to lose both of them 2 games without Joe Burrow.
True.
So by the time Joe Burrow comes, the next time you play them folks, you got to beat them. You must beat them. Because if you don't, then they up on you 2-0. You come behind the 8 ball. I don't think Trevor Siemian can beat Baltimore the first or the second game of the year if Lamar Jackson played. He can't keep up with them. Not Trevor Siemian.
The thing is, but like Ashaunti made a valid point about the NFC North. Like, you never really know with these divisional games, man.
You right when you got your mans there, but you ain't got your mans there. You see what I'm saying? Your mans ain't there. Trevor Siemian is not better than Deshaun Watson. He's not better than Lamar Jackson.
Well,
and him and Pickett might be nothing in it.
Didn't Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati week 1 last year?
Who?
Didn't Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati in week 1 last year?
I think with Joe Burrow, I believe. I don't know. I can't remember. I know the Cowboys beat him game 2. I know that. I remember Cowboys beat Cincinnati game 2. But I can't remember. But that was with Joe Burrow.
Right.
So now they gonna start the first game off against Cleveland with Myles Garrett and Deshaun Watson out.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, Cleveland seemed to have Cincinnati number.
So that's hard. That gonna be hard for them. So you still think Cincinnati can win the division? Before I break down who I think.
I think the water's gonna find itself. Joe Burrow may miss the first 5 games of the season. Lamar might miss the final 5 games of the season.
Might miss the final 8.
And I ain't trying to be funny about it, but shit happens like that, man. I'm saying Deshaun Watson might miss a game to a Nick Chubb might be out, or Cooper, like Myles Garrett. Like, it seems to me that in divisions like this, one team might suffer a big injury, but it seems like every other team at some point in time suffers some type of injury that kind of balances the shit out.
Yeah, I can see somebody this division like remember like the Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans division last year. You know, Tampa Bay, where somebody wins like 9 games and wins division. I think that's probably gonna happen with this. You know
I think 10. I think the winner is gonna get. It's gonna be a brutal division. I think 10 wins gets somebody in. And it's gonna be a good team that get left out.
Exactly.
I understand exactly what you're saying, Walt. But you still ain't told me who you think gonna win the division.
I got Cincinnati. I think they're gonna when the dust settles after 17 weeks, them boys they the best team. To me, they the best team on paper, and they the best team I've watched in that division the past 2 years. Even though they missing their starting quarterback, I think they got enough playmakers in place. They got a good enough offensive system. They got a stable of running backs, and they got a solid-ass defense that can get after the quarterback. Siemian should be able to man the ship. If, like I said, if Joe missed the first 5 games, if he can get them to 2-3, more than likely at 2-3, who knows where Kenny Pickett and Pittsburgh are going to be at that point in time, Baltimore, Cleveland, you're still somewhere in the hunt. Just don't have us 1-4. That's the whole thing. We can't be 1-4. If we 1-4, that means coaching somewhere along the line didn't do their job. Because at some point in time, coaching got to earn their money too. A high quality coach will get you out of that situation. 3-2.
Yeah, and the Baltimore plays a role too. Like you said, like they not the same Baltimore Red like we used to. You know what I mean? And then too, as much as I like Lamar Jackson, you can't trust if he's going to be healthy. He's going to make it through the season. I think Walt made a good point with that. And Odell Beckham, for that matter. I mean, Odell Beckham can totally flake out and not report to the team or some stupid like that the last 4 or 5 games.
Not like his number of targets.
You know what I'm saying? So they got some question marks. You know what I'm saying? But I like Baltimore. I always like just how the way the organization ran. But they got some play. Marlon Humphrey. I love the defense still. You know what I mean? They might not be as dominant, and the coach, you know, and like you said, we always got to look at the coach. And I think Zach Taylor is bringing himself up into the upper echelon of coaching. So, like you said, you know, and I think Only thing about Cleveland, I picked Cleveland winning division. Now let's just say if they start out, let's just say the Browns start out 1-5 or 1-4. I think the coach going to get fired. I don't think the coach going to make it through the season. It's imperative Cleveland gets to a good start, because if they don't, if he does like I said, Lord forbid, remember the Lions was 1-6 last year.
He's the only one in the division that's on thin ice. Tomlin good, Harbaugh good, Taylor good.
Yeah, he the only one. He the only one. You right about that.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
You right about
Well, we said in the NFC North, we all three of us agreed Detroit was the safest bet. So who do we think is the safest bet? Because this is closer, I think, than our division. Who's the safest bet out of all four of these damaged ass teams? Because they all four of them are.
The Bengals. I think the Bengals are the safe pick because, like you said, the last couple of years they've made it to the Super Bowl. They've been recognizable. The Steelers are kind of, we don't know, they're in transition, kind of like just there right now. And Baltimore was sort of like Lamar Jackson was hurt. Cleveland was the wild card. They went out and got Deshaun Watson. And let's be honest, they've had the team the last couple of years. It's just they have not had the quarterback play that they need to get over the hump. So that's what I'm banking on with Deshaun Watson. That's why I'm thinking Cleveland's going to win this division.
That's why I really feel the same. I don't feel the same about Cleveland winning the division, but I like Baltimore to win the division on the shootout tip, because I think the defense gonna have a setback. And I think the offense gonna be out there potent as hell, but the defense gonna have a setback, and Lamar Jackson gonna have a big year. So Lamar Jackson having a big year, that'll get them to win the division. I think the injury to Joe Burrow gonna hurt them. They lost a couple folks on defense. I know they lost their safety to Atlanta. I believe they lost one of their cones or whatever to Miami. So I believe I get Cleveland number 2. I'm gonna give Cincinnati number 3 and Pittsburgh number 4. I didn't got number 1 team in the division, 1 team out the division going to the playoff, and I said that the Baltimore Ravens. I don't see Cincinnati making it. I see Cleveland putting up a fight, but they don't make it, and I don't see Pittsburgh making it. So I got 1 team out the division making the playoff.
So you think that Joe Burrow hole that they're gonna have to come out of in the first handful of games of the season, they're not gonna be able to come out of it?
Yes, I believe that would hurt them. I believe that would hurt them. Because I believe Cleveland gonna be a way lot better than what a lot of folk may expect or whatever what we've been seeing. And with them, that'll be goddamn. They won't want to get their hump. Like Cleveland, fuck around, get in front of them, and they won't be able to catch up with them.
The one thing I will say about Cincinnati, though, too, in comparison to the other 3 teams in this division the past couple years, they've been streaky, too. Like, they'll lose 2 straight, but then they'll win 5 straight.
Yeah,
now, that's why I say, is it possible that, like, and then they play their best football and get their hottest towards the end of the season, which is what the great teams do. You know, they was going to beat Buffalo, I think, that game. Where the whole DeMar Hamlin situation happened. They was going to beat Buffalo. I thought they was better than Buffalo. We discussed that before that game.
I
felt they was better than Buffalo. They was going to beat Buffalo.
I feel that. I see that too.
And then they ultimately beat Buffalo in the playoffs. You know, so it's like, I don't...
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, so is it possible, like I said, I'm not sure if he's going to miss that many games. He a gamer. So we talking about, you already know what's going to happen. If they start 0-2, he might be playing week 3.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's...
the pressure on, because they be 0-2 in the division, the pressure on.
I'm just saying, if they start 2-3, it's possible Joe could step in and they could catch fire and they could win 7 straight and be right in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a marathon. We talking about, it's a 17-game season. It may not seem like much that they added 1 game, but it's for sure a marathon right now.
It down to a marathon. I just feel like starting 0-2 in that division will hurt you. I think that should have really hurt you. I really think that'll be the DDT. You know what I'm saying? That you really don't want. That you really don't want.
Yeah, I think 10 games win that division though. 10 wins. Yeah.
So how many for you say? How many teams? How many teams? So how many teams go to playoff out of the division?
Out that division?
Yes.
I think they're gonna beat up on each other, and I think 1 team gonna make it. Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Ashaunti, how many teams making out of that division?
One, and I'm going Cleveland, man. I hate, like I said, I don't want to turn my back on the Bengals, but I think that Joe Burrow loss going to be too much to overcome. That's what I believe. I think
I feel the same way.
You know what I mean? Just it depends. Like, let's just say this: if he's out 4 games, they make him recover. And I think, I don't want to play both sides of the fence because I do think Baltimore. I do think Cincinnati is the best team if Joe Burrow is playing, but. If not, man, I'm gonna go with Cleveland. If you ask me right now, I'm gonna say Cleveland.
You got Cleveland. Wall got the Bengals. I got the Baltimore Ravens.
We all agree it's gonna take 10 wins to win that division.
Yeah, rough though. 10 wins will definitely win that division for sure. Yeah,
I believe that too. I believe that. I say that. I believe that. Before we let these folks go, man, I got a thing I call bold prediction for the year. You know what I'm saying? For the whole NFL season. You can say whatever you want, it'll make no difference. But wow, what is your bold prediction for the NFL season?
My bold prediction for this NFL season is that Garrett Wilson, breakout wide receiver for the New York Jets, will lead the NFL in touchdown catches. Playing with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, Johnson gonna look for him, ain't he? Aaron Rodgers, he just gonna look for it. He right about
that. Garrett, one of them dudes, man.
Yeah, he that guy. He that guy.
Right about that. Ashaunti, what's your bold prediction for the NFL season?
Good question. If I had to pick one player that I think is really going to redeem himself, it's going to be Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is going to be Pro Bowl Dak. I believe in Dak Prescott. I just think that this year it's paved the way for him to either just shit or get off the pot, man. You know what I'm saying? And I believe
Shake a pill, got there, go to dialysis and say one or two.
Right, or just get the hell out. So I'm gonna predict the I'm not gonna say he's gonna win the MVP, but I'm gonna say he's gonna be in discussion all year. You know what I'm saying? I just think that Prescott gonna bounce back and have a bounce back season. And Super Bowl wise, I'm just gonna say this: the Chiefs ain't winning the Super Bowl. There's no way you're not gonna win two years in a row. It's hard as hell to do that. I'm just gonna say I don't know who's gonna win yet, but the Chiefs not winning again. That's all I'm gonna say about that. They're good. They got the best quarterback, but it's just you can't win the Super Bowl every year, man. It's too hard. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think at some point in time the issues of the NFL catch up with everybody.
Yeah, they gonna catch you. Believe that. Well, my bold prediction is my bold prediction is the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East. Over the Philadelphia Eagles.
That ain't bold.
Yes, it is. Because everybody,
boy, y'all in the mix like Chex Mix.
I can see that.
But they still believing in Philadelphia. A lot of folks got a hype on Philadelphia. Philadelphia another Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts better than that pressure on that folks say. You know what I'm saying? They done went and got that boy Carter from Georgia. You know what I'm saying? The folks said the Cowboys, we the little boy to them in the division.
Man, Jalen Carter looked good, man.
Yeah,
he looked good, dude.
He did. He did look good. But I beat the Cowboys winning the division. I'm talking about winning the division easily, like not down to the last couple games. We just pull off on Philadelphia. So my bold prediction, two of these. My bold prediction: the Dallas Cowboys go to the NFC Championship game, and the Dallas Cowboys win the division. That's my bold prediction for this season.
For sure.
Before we let these folks go, man, let these folks know how to get in touch with y'all. Any one of y'all can start off.
Go ahead, Walt.
Oh, well, of course, Detroit Lions Avenue, YouTube handle at the Av Lions. Ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the Av Lions, yeah. Like and subscribe to the channel, man. We got tons of Detroit Lions content. Even if you're not a Detroit Lions fan, come over to the page, show us some love. We really appreciate it.
What happened to Ashaunti? Ashaunti just disappeared.
Yeah, must have been some accident.
I ain't no telling. 9 times out of 10, though, I'm saying his content versus the same as yours, Detroit Line Avenue. I'm saying my guy Ashaunti. I'm saying you want to look for him, same way you got that fine Walter, you can find him. No, for real. It's your boy Moore Drive, man. I represent Know That Sport to the fullest. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I'm on our podcast platform, however you want to view this, and YouTube. I fuck with folks who fuck with me. Know that if you don't know nothing else. Staking it.